Most business owners believe they own a business. They do not. What they own is a job that cannot be delegated, wrapped in the legal structure of a company. And the difference between the two is not the revenue. It is not the team size. It is not the industry. It is one single, uncomfortable question that almost nobody is willing to ask out loud. If you disappeared for 7 days, completely unreachable, how much of what you built would still be standing when you got back? This is No Book of a COO. I'm JT. For the last 15 years, I've been a fractional COO and CMO to entrepreneurs, from first-time founders to billion-dollar operators. If you are building a business and you want operational thinking instead of motivational content, you are in the right place. Today, we are running the 7-day Disappearance Test. It is the single most honest diagnostic in small business operations, and it is designed to tell you in exactly 1 week whether you have built a business or a very expensive job. So what does it actually mean to say you have a business? It means one specific thing. The business runs. Not perfectly, not without your leadership, but it runs. Clients get served, problems get solved, decisions get made, revenue continues to come in, and none of that requires you to be the person holding it all together. That is what a business is. What most operators actually have is a collection of moving parts that only they know how to operate. The business functions because the owner functions. The ceiling, the owner. And the test that exposes it is 7 days of being completely unreachable. Here's what happens when most operators try. Day 1. You leave Friday at 5 p.m. Your phone is off, your laptop is at home. By Sunday evening, you have checked Slack 4 times. Not because you wanted to, because you needed to. One client had a weekend question that only you know how to answer. One team member is stuck on a quote because the pricing logic lives in your head. One vendor needs a decision about a delivery that nobody else has the context to make. You tell yourself it is just this 1 week, but you know the truth. This is not a schedule problem. This is a design problem. And design problems cannot be managed. They can only be rebuilt. Drop a comment. When did you last go 4 full days without checking your business? So what actually breaks first when the owner disappears? Not the big things, the small things, decisions. In the first 24 hours, your team runs into between 5 and 10 decisions that they do not have the authority, the framework, or the confidence to make without you. A client asks for a discount. A new lead wants a custom quote. An employee has a question about their PTO. A vendor sends an unexpected invoice. None of these are hard decisions in isolation. What breaks is that there is no documented authority. Research on small business decision flow consistently shows that in businesses under $2 million in revenue, the owner personally makes or approves roughly 78% of all decisions that happen in a given week. 78%. The first thing to break in a disappearance? Your team's confidence. They do not lack skill. They lack permission. And nobody gave it to them because you never had to. What breaks next? Not the decisions, the processes. Somewhere between day 2 and day 5, the things that only exist in your head start to surface as problems. How you quote a non-standard job, how you onboard a new client, how you handle a refund request, how you prioritize when 2 urgent things hit at the same time. None of these are written down. They are not in a manual. They are not in a system. They are in your head. Studies on key person dependency in small business operations consistently find that within 72 hours of the owner being unavailable, the team encounters between 15 and 20 moments where they need institutional knowledge that was never documented. Most of those moments become delays. Some of them become mistakes. All of them become reasons your team starts to feel correctly that the business cannot function without you. The second thing to break? The processes you never wrote down. Drop a comment. How many processes in your business exist only in your head? And by day 6 or 7, the last thing breaks. The relationships. This is the one almost nobody talks about. When you have been the relationship for every significant client, vendor, and partner, your disappearance is not just an operational problem. It is a trust problem. The client who always deals with you directly starts to feel invisible. The vendor who negotiates rates with you personally stops picking up the phone. The partner who closes deals on your reputation alone starts asking when you will be back. None of those people are doing anything wrong. They are reacting to a relationship structure that you designed. The third thing to break? The relationships only you can maintain. And that one does not fix itself when you come back. So what actually changes this? 3 moves, all of them small. None of them take more than 1 week each. Move 1. Document the 5 questions your team asks you most often. 1 page each, not a flowchart, not a 40-slide deck. 1 page, the steps in order, clear enough that the answer does not require you. That alone removes about 30% of your team's dependency on your direct input. Move 2. Build what I call a decision ceiling, a tiered framework that says, here is what any team member can decide on their own. Here is what a manager can decide. Here is what still comes to me. Most operators never draw the line, which means the line is wherever they happen to be standing that day. Move 3. Introduce one team member to each of your top 10 client and vendor relationships, by name, in person or on a call, on purpose, not as a handoff, as a second point of contact. The goal is not to replace yourself. The goal is to make sure the business does not have a single point of failure named after you. 3 moves. Documented decisions, defined authority, distributed relationships. That is the entire fix. If this episode gave you the diagnosis, the next step is the prescription. Go listen to the episode titled The 5 Numbers That Tell You If Your Business Can Run Without You. It is the exact mechanical follow-up to this one. This episode tells you whether you have built a business or a job. That episode tells you exactly which metrics tell you where the brakes are. You can queue it up right now, and by the time you finish, you will have a working diagnostic you can run on your business this weekend. If this episode gave you something useful, share it with one operator in your world who needs to hear it. Wherever you are, that is exactly where you are supposed to be, but that does not mean you have to stay there. Until next time.